Welcome to She Lancer, Mom Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Angela Olfast, otherwise known as VoiceOver Angela. In this podcast, we talk about my adventures in freelancing, my voiceover business, and everything else in between. Let's get started. Well, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again for another live Q&A session here on my channel. Sorry, a little distracted. Squirrel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I am a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator. And through my channel, I share with you some tips and tricks and techniques and challenges that I that I face in my own voiceover business. And I answer your questions in these live Q&A sessions. If you're not new here, then you know every week we have a new poll. And I base my polls, in case you couldn't tell already, on questions that I hear a lot, usually in the previous week or weeks. And this one is coming up a lot. I'm not sure regarding your current recording space. Are you happy with it? Are you happy with your current recording space? I know this question is sort of twofold. Because I'm asked a lot about what kind of equipment you need to get started. And in that, does an iPhone or an iPad, or can I use my phone or my iPad to record? I don't recommend that you do. Mainly because the client is going to hear the difference in audio quality. Not only that, but if you're using a phone or an iPad, there are apps. I know Adobe Audition, for example. I'm not sure if Reaper or the other ones could be downloaded on as a mobile app. I'm not even sure if Adobe Audition could. To be honest, I've never tried. I know some of the other Adobe apps can be used on a phone, but I don't know about Audition. Does anybody know? But anyway, the ability to format or edit or do anything with that audio on that mobile device, I don't know if that is something that could be done, but it is something that is necessary if you're going to be doing, say, audiobooks, for example. So I wouldn't recommend using an iPhone or an iPad or tablet or your phone to record voiceovers or audiobooks, because when you get into voiceovers specifically, a lot of the time you might be working with a client who has an audio engineer that is then going to take your voiceover and do something else with it. And they're going to hear the difference right away in your audition, in your final delivery, that it is not an actual external microphone. Right? So that might turn off some of your clients. I'm just being completely honest with you. I know the equipment is expensive, but it is an investment into this new business or this new endeavor, this new industry that you're looking to get into. But the equipment is necessary. But the other side of that question was if you're currently happy with your recording space. And I could tell you, for me, it took me a good year and a half, maybe 2 years. I'm still not even completely happy with it. It's okay, but there are things that I think, as my ear becomes more attuned to the sound of things, I'm starting to pick up things. Well, I can fix that. I can add this. You know what I mean? It's just always like a constant tweaking. It's always a constant revision, basically. Because this isn't a booth, a purchased booth. This is a built booth. This is something that was a room for another purpose that was converted into a booth. So seems like there's always tweaking to be done. So, and I know I'm not the only one. Unless you've spent, a bajillion dollars and, built your booth from the ground up or purchased one. That's something different. But I think majority of us have converted a room, in the beginning anyway, and just kind of used that to record voiceovers and audiobooks in. And I wanted to just kind of see what your takes were, because I know I'm not alone. And there's a lot of people that I know of currently that are struggling with their recording space and getting their sound perfect, right? And again, what is perfect, right? I mean, because your ear could be your definition of perfect could be different than my definition of perfect, or the audio engineer of client A, or the audio engineer of client B. Everyone's got a preference or a different ear for things. So making your recording space perfect isn't something that's it might never happen, right? You just have to get it as sounding as best you can. And of course, you could always reach out to an audio engineer to do like a booth audit or to go through your effects and create a rack preset for you to maybe make suggestions on what you could add or omit, or there's a lot of things you could do to reach out to professional help and assistance in making your booth sound great. But I don't know if we're ever really truly 100% happy with our recording space. So I wanted to get your take. Tangent one. Need someone to keep a tally. Okay, so currently we have 32 votes. And it looks like 18% of you said, yes, it's perfect. 76% of you said, no, I'm still perfecting it. And 6% of you said, I don't have a recording space yet. And for those of you that are watching that don't have a recording space yet, please know that your recording space is probably one of the more important aspects of recording voiceovers and audiobooks, because that is the environment in which you are recording. So you want to make sure that it doesn't sound, there's no echo, it doesn't sound like a box, it doesn't sound, hollow or tinny. And those two, the latter two really are effects too. I mean, with your recording space, you want to sort of address any of the issues that you're finding in post. Let me back up. I think I'm getting ahead of myself here. What we generally do is we build a recording space and we start recording stuff, right? And then we just want to put effects on it to fix it. Noise reducers, EQ. We want to do all of this stuff to our audio files in post, but in reality, what we're doing is just basically destroying that audio quality. So your recording space, you need to make sure that there's, no ambient noise. You're far enough away from everybody else in your house that you're not going to be picking up the TV that they're watching, or, picking up the dog next door barking, or people walking above you. Or maybe you have a computer in your room and your microphone is picking up the computer's fan or the vibration from something in your room. So if you record audiobooks, your noise floor has to be at a certain threshold. So all of those low tones are going to also be included into your audio file. So your recording space, when you're doing your test recordings to make sure that you can accomplish or get to the standards of sound that you need, you take all of that stuff into consideration, right? Move everything that makes noise away from your microphone, get it out of your booth, right? Tell everybody upstairs to be quiet, right? Can't really do much about the dog next door. You just have to be patient and wait it out, unfortunately, but it is what it is, right? Same thing with planes overhead, same things with, trucks going by outside. It just is what it is. You got to wait it out, right? And that's your best option. And don't get me wrong, there are some great effects that can reduce these things, but it's better to just let them go by and cut all of the noise out. Because again, the more effects that you apply, you're doing yourself a disservice by applying Band-Aid effects to things. It's better to focus on getting the sound of your recording space perfect, as best as perfect, as close to perfect as you can to start. Tangent 2. Oh my God. So it looks like the majority of you are on the same page with me. A good 3/4 of you are still perfecting it. And I am too. It's a struggle. It's a struggle for sure. Oh my goodness. We have a super chat. Thank you for that. Here's a fiver. Thank you. I appreciate you, Caesar. That was nice of you. Love these Q&As. I didn't build a booth. I set up a studio. I'm claustrophobic. I tried a booth and nearly clawed my eyes out with fear. Yeah, I could totally see that. I am happy that I am not, because I would be. There are some people that I know that have booths much smaller than mine, and I'm not sure how they do that, especially with the air, the lack of air. You would really need to make sure that your booth was ventilated too, so you don't asphyxiate yourself. But I'm glad that you like these Q&As, and I appreciate your super chat. I'm glad that they're helpful. You guys rock. Thank you so much. But let's see who's first in. Mary. Hello, Mary. Good morning. Happy? Yes. Perfect? No. That is the best way to sum it up. Am I happy? I would say mostly. Perfect? No. I'd love the closet booth to not have some storage stuff in it. Well, it just depends on what that storage stuff is. That storage stuff could be, a benefit to the sound. If we're talking clothes, stuff that absorbs, the vibrations, the frequencies, then that would not necessarily be a bad thing. But if it's all stuff that reflects your voice, that could be a bad thing. Yeah, storage here in my house is at a premium. I don't have a whole lot of it. Dylan, good morning, Dylan. Good morning, all. Just finished a LibriVox recording and taking a break in between ACX auditions to get some wonderful and encouraging advice. From me? Thank you. I appreciate that. And don't forget to use your ACX auditions as samples. Phil says, hey, Angela. Hey, Phil. How's it going, Phil? Good to see you. Victoria VO, good morning. It's my bedroom closet, so yeah, it needs some improvement. And again, it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be, awe-inspiring when you look at it. It just has to sound good, right? I've worked with a lot of people, as you know, and some of their beginner or starting booths were not pretty to look at, but they sounded good. And that's all that really matters, right? I mean, if you think about it, if we go on vacation or something, where are we recording portions of our audiobooks or voiceovers that a client needs like right away, or a revision that needs to be done? More than likely, we're under the duvet of the bed in the hotel room, trying our best to make it sound good. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to sound good, right? Miriam says, yeah, same here. My closet as well. And that is a, I wouldn't say, that is a commonly used part of the house to convert to a studio. I know a lot of people that do that. And that's really usually the only kind of room or space that you have available in most cases. I mean, a lot of us don't have an extra room in our houses to dedicate to this. So the closet usually gets sacrificed to the voiceover gods. But hey, if it works, it works, right? Anthony and Vivian Lanius. Good morning, Angela, and all Angelites here. Have a great and productive Tuesday. I second that. Have a great and productive Tuesday. Well said. Dylan says, I made a 4x4 booth from PVC, shower curtain hangers, moving blankets, and LED light strips. It's not perfect by any means, but it helps me meet the noise floor requirements. See? That's all you need. As long as you can meet the standards and it sounds good. Hey. Uh-oh, Joy is checking in on you, Phil. How's the book going? Pamela. Good morning, Pam. Good morning to you. Good to see you here. Caesar that says, woohoo, made it. Bit late. I was a bit late too. I was about a minute late, but fashionably so. Do I have to sit in the back, or is there still room up front? You can sit wherever you like. Looks like there's about 35 people in here, so there's plenty of room. Plenty of room. But what I typically say is, I think this comes from being in the car business. If you're late to a meeting, you got to bring food, got to bring donuts, something. But then that would have been me today too. Stu Blank says, good morning, all. Happy Taco Tequila Tuesday. I like that. I think that's what we're going to call Tuesdays around here. Taco and Tequila Tuesday. Rustic Hillbilly, morning all. Morning to you. Good to see you. Caesar says, excuse me, my current recording space works, as do most, right? No early reflections, comb filtering, or flutter echo. But I'm still improving it because, well, I'm pedantic. Also, I want my space to be more aesthetic. I get that. I mean, that was one of the first things I did when I went full time in here, because it was just, this room was just, as I mentioned before in the beginning, you're just kind of finding where the flaws are or where the fixes need to be and just go Band-Aid, 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 right? And then it just looks like, like you're a hoarder or something. It just looks like exactly what it is, Band-Aids over everything. So one of the first things I did when I went full time is I completely gutted this room and just completely redid it so it was a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to me, because I sit in here all day long, almost every day. So I have to not feel like I'm, sitting in a garbage pile. Not garbage, you know what I mean. BB Homebody says, good morning, Angela and everyone. Coffee all around. Yes, everybody, if you have your coffee handy, toast. Morning. Coffee. Michael V says, happy Tangent Tuesday. Oh, that's a good one too. Oh my gosh. So it'll be Taco Tequila Tangent Tuesday. So that's the triple T Tuesday. Love it. Amy. Good morning, Amy. Good to see ya. Good morning from Austin. I agree with Mary HP. Happy with mine. Yes. Perfect. No. But just dipping my toe in at this point. I'm an absolute beginner. And you know what, Amy? We all were at one point. So just know that it takes time. It takes patience. It takes resilience. And lots of learning, knowledge, training, and practice. But you will get there as long as you just keep at it. Joya says, Adobe Audition is listed as a computer app, no web version. Reaper is computer-based, not for mobile. Thank you for that, Joya. Yeah, so that goes back to, I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to see if I can download it onto my phone just to see if it would. But again, I don't think using a mobile device is advantageous for doing any of this. Thank you for that, Joya. Vaping Mike says, morning and or afternoon. I built a 6-foot by 6-foot enclosed booth, insulation and sound treatment, always a work in progress. Yeah, and I think a lot of us in here would echo that. Constantly, forever, perpetually a work in progress, right? Briscoe VO. Hi, Angela. Hello, Briscoe VO. Good to see you. Phil to Joya. Editing is still ongoing. There are some parts where I made mistakes and have to re-record. And there's been rotating shifts at work, so been feeling dizzy recently. Well, that's not good. That's not good. Make sure you pace yourself. If you need some time off, if you need to take the time to recoup, I mean, your health is more important than anything. So take the time you need. Most clients, and I'm sure Joya would say the same, most clients are understanding about that. We're all human. So take the time you need if you're not feeling well. Pamela says, spent the weekend revamping my space before I start using my new Rode mic. I cannot wait to find all the fresh new hells await me this week. Pam, now that may be true, and that usually goes hand in hand with, gutting and redoing or revamping. But Just know that you will get past them. It will take time. It will take trial and error and probably a little dash of frustration, but you will get through them. Plus, you have the support of all of us, right? Not only the Platinum group in our Discord. You guys are amazing in our Discord, by the way. So selfless and supportive. But you have all of us to help you kind of troubleshoot, perhaps, and to find some solutions for things. So just stay positive. You'll get through it. I promise you. Joya says to Phil, keep pushing through. You can do it. Yes, you can, Phil. But don't push too hard. Otherwise, your body will tell you it's time to time out. And you don't want that. BB Homebody says, I currently record in my closet surrounded by clothes with a thick blanket over the ceiling. Super budget style. Hey, and if it works, right? If it works, it works. Nothing wrong with that. Cecil JI50. Good morning, Angela. Jim Cecil here. Good morning, Jim. Curious how to convey rights to customers' clients. Does a document need to be sent? Is there a existing generic rights template out there somewhere? I'm sure that there is. If we're talking about pay to plays or platform clients, there's usually something in their terms of service that will lay out what the rights are. If you're working with someone directly, I usually have in my invoices and contracts, the verbiage outlining what those entail or what they mean and how they're included, what their usages are, really kind of explaining what can be done with the voiceover that I deliver. But I'm sure that there are. I'm trying to think of some possible sites. There are, if you belong to any associations or ACX, I think has on their legal page, there are a lot of documents there for audiobooks, contracts and such. I'm sure that there are. If you really wanted to, you could probably even have your attorney or somebody draw something up for you. But I'm sure that there are online example templates that you can edit to make your own. I'm sure that there are. But you definitely want to read through them or have your attorney look at them and make sure that they're going to actually protect you, right? Bob says, I spent less than $300 on equipment. Sounds great. There you go. If it works, right? Megan says, hello. Thanks for the Facebook ad. Of course. I'm in a 2x2 padded cedar closet. It's big enough to stand in with a good distance from the mic, but sounds weird. Can a recording space be too small? Noise floor is negative 51-ish. I think there could be a limit to how small it is, but I think a 2x2, if it sounds weird, it might be, if you said it's padded, but padded with what? You might need thicker padding, but my fear is if you do thicker padding or a more acoustic treatment inside, you're going to have less room to move. Not only that, you're going to run out of air. If you're doing audiobooks, namely, you're going to run out of air fast. That's a lot of talking. That's a lot of, I don't know. It could be too small or just not treated enough inside. That's pretty small. Savannah says, hey, Angela and all, I have been able to finish my booth fort to finally get that negative 60 dB sound floor. I had to cover the windows with soundproof ceiling tiles, sound barriers, and sound blankets. Again, if it works, it works. Nice. And again, it's always better to get your recording space to meet the specs versus putting Band-Aids on with effects later. So good job, Savannah. And she says, finally. How long did it take you to get there? Phil says to Joya, thank you. Let's see. Jeffrey906. Hello, Angela. Yes, always making changes, adding soundproofing, moving, and adding equipment. Also, it is a dual purpose as a podcast studio as well. And that is another thing that I bring up quite often, uh, especially in the beginning, if you're trying to get off the ground, and let's just say this is your only venture, that you don't have a day job, or this is something that you absolutely need to make you money. Because as we know, voiceovers and audiobooks, this is not like a get rich quick thing at all. It takes time to learn and to train and to, overcome the challenges of building your booth and getting the equipment and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if you have the equipment already, do something else with it. Make it work for you. If you have the chops to, if you understand the audiobook standards, like file format standards, offer to edit, format, master, proof audiobooks for other narrators, or edit podcasts, or create podcasts of your own, edit dialogue. If you have the software and the equipment, then offer those services too. I mean, multiple streams of income are not a bad thing, right? And that will help kind of fund your journey into getting into voiceover and audiobooks. Plus it'll, it's extra couple of bucks here and there, maybe more than that, right? MG Steven says, hi, Angela. Hi, everyone. I picked Yes, It's Perfect today only because I met with an audio engineer yesterday and got great feedback and a custom effects rack. So it's as good as it can be today. I love that. Who did you work with? Just out of curiosity. And I did too. I had to break down and get an audio engineer because I think a little bit was I was in my own head quite a bit, and I wanted to make sure that with all of the money that I had invested in my equipment, that it was working its best for me in my recording space. So I reached out to an audio engineer after I had revamped this room, right? Because you don't want to change anything after they give you an effects rack that's based on your room and your voice, because that, just kind of makes that effects rack a moot point at that point. But after everything was done in here, I reached out to an audio engineer, Tim Tippett, and had him do a booth audit for me, and also made me a rack preset based on my equipment and my room. And I was very, very happy with it. But now I think I'm getting into my own head again. And I've also switched out my interface, which has changed the sound a little bit. I stopped using the DBX also. So there's a little bit, I should probably get back in touch with him and have him revise. But Jim says, I seem to have the opposite problem as most. I keep getting a message from my dog telling me complete silence is unnatural. I'm too quiet. That's interesting. What DAW do you have that says that? And are you using silence, or is that your natural noise floor that's quiet? That's interesting. It does look like you might have continued that. Possible. Let me just look down here and see if his question continues down here. I don't see it. Okay, we'll have to maybe circle back if you had an add-on to that. Your favorite today and every day says, good afternoon. I have completed my third book on ACX and decided to upgrade my DAW to Adobe Audition. Well, welcome to the Adobe Audition family. I love it. I love Adobe Audition. Never been happier. But congratulations on your third book. Gregory is here. Good morning, Gregory. Good morning, Madame Angela. Good morning, sir. I continue to move my thick clothes into my closet to sweeten what will be my recording space. Love it. Adding to sweeten the recording space. I think we're going to have to use that too. I'm stealing that from you, Gregory. I hope that's all right. JCC AOL says, I will bring tacos next week since I was late. Love it. Don't forget the tequila. And I will bring the tangent. I am Paximus. Hey, Angela. Hey, Paximus. Skipping a meeting, working from home today. Glad to be here again to talk all things VO, narration, recording space, nerdy and tangent things and stuff. You're the best. My recording space is my garage. Hey man, if it works, I would imagine when you say your recording space is in a garage, and I would imagine that your drum set's probably also in there too. That's what I'm envisioning. But do you have like a section sort of closed off for your recording space? I wouldn't imagine it would just be one big open space. MG Steven says, is anyone using Audacity and having trouble with getting their real-time effects into macro? Every time I add one to the macro, it shuts down Audacity. I'd really like to apply with one click. I don't use Audacity, but what immediately comes to mind is that I've had kind of glitchy issues with Adobe Audition when it updates and the old version is still present. So I'm wondering, just off the top of my head, if it's like a version software driver kind of an issue, perhaps? Maybe? Is there an update available on Audacity or for Audacity? Is there multiple versions on your computer that are kind of making it not want to work or play nice? That's usually an issue that I have with Adobe Audition. So I have to go in there and remove all of the old versions when it updates. Otherwise, it's kind of glitchy. I am Paximus. Coffee. Yes, everybody grab your coffee. I think it's time for another one. We might have to add this to the Q&A. Just everybody pause and take a drink of your coffee. Unless it's, well, coffee you can enjoy any time of day. Let's just be real. I do. Caesar says, I actually burned quite a bit of money by taking on bad advice from someone who told me I could work in an untreated room just by using a dynamic microphone. My recordings were completely unusable. That's unfortunate. And that kind of goes along with what we talked about last week in, tips on online voiceover training and finding someone that is credible and that you're comfortable with and so on and so forth. It was a very interesting Q&A last week, and that's exactly what we talked about. But your recording space is one of the most important parts of this, hands down. And I'm sorry that that happened to you. But it sounds like that you are working on your recording space, so that's a good thing. Moving forward, right? It's a lesson to be learned, and we move forward. That's how I look at those kinds of things. Joya says, it's all about determination and perseverance. If you are determined to do it, then you can. No matter the booth or noise floor flaws. Just do it. Go record something. Yes. Just do it. Go record something. Oh my God. How many times did I say that? Like way back in the day. Just do it. Glowin, is it Glowin I can retire? Glowin I can retire? Sorry if I'm butchering that. Good morning, and all of you west of Atlantic Canada. It's after 1 p.m. here. I'm a recent subscriber and just received my boom mic, mixer, sound wall, and headphones. Studio gear day is one of the best days when you get all of your stuff and then you put it all up and then you go, okay, now I'm going to record something. And then you realize that you have to get everything working together harmoniously and all of the effects in your DAW, set appropriately for your recording space. So I'm telling you that because I'm preparing you for what is the next stage. Getting all of your stuff is fun. Setting it up is fun. Maybe a little frustrating and confusing, but you get past it. I mean, YouTube is a goldmine of information, right? But then you have the next stage, whereas, fine tuning all of this stuff and getting it to work together. And then the next stage is the practice, 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 training, 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 right? Audition, audition, audition. And maybe still a little bit of trial and error and tweaking of your effects. These are all natural, normal stages that we go through in getting all of this stuff set up. So I'm not trying to dissuade you. I'm just preparing you. I'm being honest. There's more to come. There's a lot of learning ahead of you, but just know that you can get through it. Just like Joya was saying, determination, resilience, you can get through it. You just have to be determined to see it through. Victoria VO says, Adobe Audition is not available for mobile like iPad. I tried. Okay, well, that answers that question. Thank you, Victoria. You saved me a little brain damage, possibly later trying to get that upload. Good morning, Angela and all. This is Right Tracks. Just landed my first audiobook. Congratulations. And I can say I'm a bit nervous, but excited to get started. Have a great one and good luck to everybody. Yes. My first audiobook, I can say I would think the words that I would use, probably nervous and excited as well. Maybe more like anxious and terrified, I think would be the words that I would have chosen, but excited as well. I was excited to get my first book. But in that first book, you learn a lot more about the fine tuning of your space and your effects and learning the standards for files for audiobooks. It was definitely a trial by fire, but I felt so much stronger and so much more confident after that. But congratulations on that first one. M. Landry says, hi all. In process of transforming a bookcase and shower curtain rods into a 4-ish square foot booth, raided the linen closet and sewed towels, quilts, foam into sound panels, etc. Hope it works. Wow. That's awesome. Good for you. You're really going for it. You'll have to let us know or give us an update on how it goes. That's awesome. Deanna Forsyth. Hi, Angela. Hi, Deanna. On another Zoom, but love your Q&As. Thank you for all you offer. That's okay. You can be on another Zoom. I don't mind. I'm just glad that you're here. And I'm glad that you find my tangents helpful. CD Williams says, hello, Angela. Hello, CD. Good to see you again. Glad that you're here. Let's see, who is this? This is Dave Moxley. And it lends itself to intimate reads only. For the 2x2 booth, perhaps? What are we talking about? M. Landry says, if I have to sit in a padded cell all day, it needs to be comfortable and cute, in my honest opinion. Okay, so we must be talking about the 2x2 booth. That would be rough. And I would think that air would be a major concern in that little booth. And in reality, no matter how big your booth is, you are talking to yourself in a padded cell all day. At least I am. But hey, you get paid for it, right? You get paid to sit in a padded cell and talk to yourself all day. But comfort is definitely a key factor, for sure. And that is one of the reasons why I invested in one of these Secret Lab chairs, because I knew that this room is not, you can't really stand in it. It's so small and jam-packed with equipment and stuff that standing is not really an option. The only room I have in here is for a chair, and standing for audiobooks is kind of a no-go, right? So I said to myself, who sits for long periods of time? Who's going to have a chair designed specifically for what they do? Gamers, right? Plus, it was a good enough excuse to get, the Targaryen Secret Labs chair. Has a great warranty. It is an investment, but it's hella comfortable. And I'm glad every day that I made the purchase. Caesar says 2x2 sounds horrifying to me, but then again, like I mentioned, I'm claustrophobic. Yeah. I think 3x3 is minimum. 2x2, and you may end up eating your microphone. Yeah, I think it would depend on positioning, but I think really the main factor there is air, being able to breathe. Tess Stalker says, I almost missed today. Busy. Busy is a good thing. Busy is a good problem to have. Glad to be here. Or as I glean so much info. Fairly happy with my space, but always room for improvement. I have RLX on my closet walls. There is always room for improvement on our rooms, right? At least it feels that way. And you could have some people that are neurotic like me and just say, oh, well, I could do this, I could do that. It's not perfect yet, but it sounds just fine to everyone else that you come into contact with. It's just that it's not done. It's not done. It's not done. But it's fine in reality. We're so hard on ourselves. We are our own worst critics. Michael V says, get rich quick, be a voice actor. In as little as 40 years, you could be making a 4-figure income. Well, not quite that long, but I see your meaning. We see a lot of those, side hustle hacks. You could make $400 an hour just using your voice and your phone. No, it doesn't work that way. MG Stevens says, I met with Alex DeWeese. He's very prompt in communication and helpful. That's Bill DeWeese's son. Yeah, I've watched a couple of his videos. I don't remember if they were on Bill's YouTube channel or if Alex has his own. He probably has his own, but I've seen a few of his videos and he seems like he knows what he's doing. I mean, he's an audio engineer, right? That's awesome. I might have to, and then Michael V says Alex is good. I might have to reach out to him too at some point, although I love Tim. Tim was amazing. Tim Tippett was amazing for me, and I was very happy with what he did. I don't know. What could it hurt? Sorry, Tim. Love you, though. Caesar says, funny story about tequila. Oh, boy. Tequila and I don't get along very much anymore. I once stumbled into my studio highly inebriated and blacked out. Oh, woke up the following morning to a highly inappropriate 4-hour audio recording sitting in Adobe Audition. Did that really happen? And the funniest part of that would be that it was the best voiceover you've ever done. That would be my luck. I don't remember doing it. And I was, imbibing spirits and recorded the best voiceovers ever and don't remember doing it. That would be my luck. I am Paximus. Yes, I actually have it in open space. Interesting, except on one side is linoleum and on the other is fully carpeted library area where I record the narration. Funny enough, I record the drums on the linoleum side. Interesting. Well, I could see the drums on the linoleum side. That's a fun word, linoleum. Being advantageous for the sound for the drums. But I'm surprised that you don't have a lot of echo or like boom in that room from being just in a treated corner. But hey, if it works, right? Mary says, you coffee cup. Oh, my Pennywise coffee cup? Yeah, you guys know that I'm a horror geek. My Pennywise coffee cup, and on the back it says, you'll float too, or time to float, time to float, time to float. Yeah, I'm a horror nerd. Thanks, Mary. Jim, is it Jim Cecil, right? This one's just Cecil. I just want to make sure that I'm saying your names correctly here. Audacity 3.3, just the natural ambient sound here in my home office. I close the doors and windows and it's too quiet. I don't understand how that's possible. I use a PreSonus Revelator mic. I wonder if does your microphone have a high pass filter on it? Perhaps maybe you've got an effect somewhere that's built in. I've I worked with someone a couple of months ago who had bought a new microphone, and their microphone didn't have a high pass filter function on it physically on the microphone, but within the software for the microphone, in his computer, it had settings for sound. And one of the settings was a high pass filter and a noise reducer. It was adding these effects automatically as like default for him. So that's an idea. Maybe your microphone has settings within the software on your computer that you can turn off or reset, or maybe on your mic itself has a high pass filter. There might be something that's being applied that maybe you could turn off so you have a little bit more of a natural ambient room sound, so you're not too quiet. It's a possibility. MG Steven says, thank you. I will definitely check that after this because I did download on Audacity update a few weeks ago. It could be a possibility. I know I have that issue when there's an update on Audition. It just goes goofy. Or the drivers, maybe it's, usually the culprit when you've gone through everything else, it's an outdated driver on your computer. That's all you need. It's just one little thing to screw up everything else. It's usually the way it goes, right? JCC AOL says, Angela, a YouTube channel I came across good for storytelling is As the Raven Dreams. These are very good for those who want to hear not only good stories, but the narrator does a good job. We like sharing, hey, check this out, recommendations, right, here on this channel. As the Raven Dreams. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to have to go check that out now. As the Raven Dreams. Is it like sleep stories? Maybe? It sounds like it would be a good name for like a sleep story channel, right? Also, another idea to utilize your equipment already in your studio. Make a YouTube channel where you narrate things. Write your own story. Books in the public domain. Just a thought. Joya says, no coffee for me. Caffeine intolerant. Ugh. Well, I can't say I'd be upset about that. If I would always be caffeine intolerant, then I wouldn't know what I'm missing, I guess. Right? But pass me the herbal tea any day. I love herbal tea too. I'm a tea nerd. I have those butterfly pea flowers. I have that tea. I have, of course, matcha. I've got all kinds of good teas. I'm a tea nerd. I'm a caffeine nerd. Let's just call it what it is. I love my caffeine. They have to be caffeinated teas. I am Paximus as I record the drums on the linoleum side, but have a rug, and the natural sound gives my drums a vintage room reverb, which is nice. Narration recordings are good on the carpet side. That's cool. Because it would be my luck that I would have the same setup as you, but I would have like this big echo or boom that went along with my recording. So if it works for you, hey man, that's awesome. We're talking about coffee, so I'm like, I need my coffee. Brent is here. Hey, Brent. Hi, Angela. First time here. Thank you for all the content. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for being here, Brent. I appreciate you. Glawin, I can retire. I hope I'm saying that right. I have been told for decades that I should be on radio. Your YouTube videos helped me find this path, and you were close enough on my name. Oh, okay. Glawin? Is it Glawin? Glawin? I don't want to keep butchering your name. How do you pronounce it? Help me out phonetically. I'll be more than happy to say it appropriately or try my best to. Caesar says, am I the only one who gets deeply attached to your audio gear? I accidentally knocked over one of my mics a few days ago and dented the grill, so I cradled it to my chest while rocking back and forth. I don't think you're the only one in that respect. I think with the investment and the time that you take and all the recordings that you record, you become attached to your equipment. You just do. And I think for me anyway, because this is my third mic, right? Is in the beginning, you just kind of use whatever mic you have, and then you upgrade, and then you upgrade. And this was like my ultimate want, the Sennheiser 416. This was my ultimate want. And so to me, it's a big, big deal because not only did I spend a lot of money on it, but it was like the goal. It was the dream. It was the dream mic. So yeah, it means a lot, right? But I would probably do the same if I had dropped it and damaged it or something, scratched it even. I would probably cradle it and rock it. Yep. Mourn its passing. And then go buy a new one. Go buy something else. I'd go get a Neumann something probably. I don't know. Sorry, Sennheiser, I love you. Facebook user. Okay, this is Patricia. Hi, Patricia. Hauser. Watching you on my TV this morning instead of PC. Oh, don't watch me on TV. Then you get to see everything in HD. I'm so sorry. Finally occurred to me I could use my phone to comment. Mernin. I am so sorry for the HD. I'm so sorry about that. Glad you're here though. M. Landry says, how do y'all handle air circulation? I have sewn a soft tube from my quilt towel batting sandwich to attach to my AC vent and top of booth. Once again, I hope it works. Me personally, I just open up my door. I record with the door closed, so it, puts a wall between me and the noisy computer outside. But I just open my door once I'm done with the recording part and I start editing and doing the post stuff. Then I open the door, and I also have a fan in here on the floor that's pointed at my face that I turn on just to kind of circulate air in here. There is also an AC vent in here because this is a converted storage room that has an AC vent. But if you're building a booth or you have a pre-built booth, you want to get one, or if you're looking for one, you want to look for one that does have air circulation attached to it. I think you can add those after the fact as well, but you might have to get creative. But air is definitely something that you want to consider in building your spaces. So I'm so glad this came up because I didn't mention it earlier. But air is important. You need air in your recording space, right? You don't want to asphyxiate yourself. But again, if it works, it works. You just have to be aware that it's not going to make, if it's running while you're recording, that it's not going to make noise, that it's not going to catch fire, that it's not going to, all of the normal things. But air is important. Amy M says, that's the stage that I'm in. I have the equipment in the cool recording space, but feel kind of paralyzed by trying to figure everything out when I practice record. It can be a little overwhelming, and it is overwhelming. Everybody I talk to says the same thing. It is overwhelming. It's a lot. And then when you get into the business side, when you're setting up profiles, you're writing bios, you got the pictures and the thumbnails and auditions. And I mean, there's so much to set up your website, demos. Did everybody say demos? There's a lot to be done, but there's only one way, as we know, to eat that elephant is just by bite by bite. So you have to pace yourself, be patient, and give yourself grace if you goof up. If you make a mistake and you learn from it, that just makes you more stronger and more resilient going forward. So failure is not necessarily a bad thing, but ultimately the best thing you can have at this stage is patience and give yourself grace because it is a learning process. So getting training, help, support is important, and having groups. So belong to groups, join groups, because they will understand and they will more than likely help you, get through troubleshooting or just to pick you up when you're not feeling your best. And that imposter monster comes knocking, because he does. Your group will help you to stand back up, punch that monster in the face, and keep on moving, right? Just keep swimming. Brent says, I was lucky enough to get a whisper room 3x4 a week ago. It's been great so far, but man, they get hot. Yes, air. Whisper rooms are nice. I would love to have a whisper room. Studio bricks, I think, is the direction I would go. But I just don't have the room for one here. I just had to work with what I had, and this is what I have to work with. But that's cool. Good job. That's a score. That's a score. Amy says, thanks for letting me know that this is a normal phase in the process. Absolutely. It is. We've all gone through it. It's just a step in the process. And they're not all easy, but with determination and, pluck, you'll get through it. I am Paximus. If you want some help, Angela, I would be glad to help with audio. I'm an audio engineer and stuff. Well, there you go. I am Paximus. So is it okay for anybody else to reach out to you, perhaps, for assistance? Because there's probably a bunch of people here that could use your assistance. CD Williams, I'm having to use my bedroom that's about 13 by 13 with 2 doors. I think I need to build a PVC pipe bat cave and moving blankets. I can get my sound to pass ACX standards using effects and Audacity, though. Yes, you can. You can definitely get the standards met with effects, but you don't want to solely rely on effects to get your files to format standards, because effects will ultimately make your audio sound bad if you use too much or the effects don't work well together, so on and so forth. So you want to focus on your space more so than fixing it later, right? But I think with your PVC pipe bat cave, it wouldn't be a bad idea. If you're using an entire bedroom, that's cool. I would have an editing station, and then I would have next to it, I would have a recording booth, like you said, with PVC moving blankets, something to sort of isolate the sound in just your recording space, and then have it, hooked up to your editing station next to it. But the only thing that you would need to consider with that kind of setup is how loud your computer is, or the proximity of your computer to the microphone. Because that microphone, of course, is going to pick up anything around it. Even a shotgun mic, when it's pointed, directly in front of you, it's only got this pickup pattern, not so much over here, not so much over here. But it's still going to pick up noise, and that computer sound would be ambient noise in the room. So that might affect your noise floor that way. Tangent 5. Sunny. Hey, Sunny. Hey, Angela, do you think it's necessary to record in a booth or closet? What about a small bedroom filled with acoustic panels? I don't think you have to be like in a little tiny padded cell. Not at all. It can be in a bigger room as long as that room is appropriately treated. So you don't have, echo and, any kind of other noises that come from the room. If it works, hey, do it. If you have the benefit of having an extra room, if I had an extra room in this house, I would dedicate a whole bedroom to my studio. Why not? M. Landry says, gosh, Amy M., I understand how you feel. Been perfecting space and procrastinating for some months. It's all coming together though. And it does. And when it starts to all come together, it's just like this tremendous weight off your shoulders. And it may take some time to get there. It took me a while to get there. But no matter what challenge that I faced, I knew that there had to be a way to get around it, through it, over it, past it, right? There has to be a way. And it's something that you might have to maybe take a step back, grab another pair of eyes to look at it with you. A little bit of group think from your group, a little bit of, you might have to think outside the box, take a step back and breathe for a minute and go, okay, what can I do to eliminate this problem? This root cause of this problem, instead of putting Band-Aids on it later. All of that stuff. It's all just a phase. It's a step, and we get through it. But just know that there is a way to pretty much get around to every challenge. You just have to find the appropriate one for you, because they're all going to be different, right? Everybody's space and recording setup, everybody's got different circumstances. There's a lot of variables. So it could be, a number of different fixes for the fix. Tangents are just coming like flood today. I'm sorry. Ross says, hey, Angela, hope you're doing well today. Always a pleasure to watch your live streams. Thank you for being here, Ross. It's good to see you. Yeah, doing well. For those of you who know, I'm still picking cactus needles out of my knee. There's still a couple left in there. That's what it is. Michael V says, I just looked up the Presonus Revelator. It is a dynamic USB mic that may have something to do with its quietness. Could be. Could be. Sunny says, should we be wary, critical of companies who are trying to dig a new basement floor for PFH rates? There's been discussion of one that offers 40 per finished hour for raw and error-free audio, no mastering. That's always been a thing. I can recall in my very beginning stages, I don't know, maybe within my first year, someone had offered me $25 per finished hour. I mean, that's always been a thing. And you don't have to take it. That is just somebody that is either trying to get either bulk discount, maybe they have a lot of books that need to get done, or someone who doesn't really know that that is not really a great price for what you're doing and the time that you spend, or someone who just doesn't, they're just trying to get their content made for as little as possible. They want to keep their overhead low. I mean, for whatever reason they're offering that, you don't have to take it. But if you want to take it, take it. That's the beauty of this. You do what you want to do, but it has to make sense for you, but you don't have to take it. But for raw and error-free audio, so that tells me that they have an audio engineer. So that's how they're trying to justify giving you a lower per finished hour or entry-level per finished hour rate, is because they're saving you some time. They're saving you some effort. And again, if editing takes you forever, and you use punch and roll, then hey, that might be worth it, depending on how big the book is. But it's your prerogative. You do what you want to do. Cami says, good morning. I've been listening while getting ready. Hope you're well. I am well. Thank you, Cami. What are you getting ready for? What you doing? What you getting ready for? You got to share now. Right Track says, do you know of any sources, recommendations for narrators using Logic Pro to meet ACX requirements? I don't off the top of my head, but I can tell you YouTube is a goldmine of information. And I bet you anything, there's videos on just that topic. But I don't know anybody off the top of my head that uses Logic Pro. But where there's a will, there's usually a way, right? JCC AOL says, as the Raven Dreams deals with horror, but these topics are creepy coworker, creepy stalker, third shift horror. These are stories that are submitted by the listeners. Interessante. Noting. Thank you for that. Okay, here we go. Thank you. Glad when I can retire. Glad when I can retire. It's an old game name I used many years ago. All right, cool. And anyways, so I purchased Director Suite. Do you or anyone in the room have any tips or criticisms with the software? I've never heard of it. I'm not sure what Director Suite is. But again, I'm a pretty open-minded person, and I know there's new technology, software stuff, platforms coming out almost every day. So if this is something that somebody else is familiar with and you end up liking it, then that could be another possibility for other people in the future. So once you figure it out, make sure you come back and give us an update. But YouTube, maybe I know that's my answer for everything the last few questions, but if I don't know, I'm not going to, sit here and pretend that I do. I don't. But I'd rather you get your information from multiple sources, maybe from, YouTube tutorials and how-tos than just one, right? Because sometimes sources have different opinions on things. So, but I've never heard of Director Suite. M. Landry says, do you have to edit out your fan noise? If you have fan noise, depending on where it's coming from, if it's like computer fan noise, I would just move that computer as far away from your microphone as you can. And what I had to do actually was go onto Amazon and get super long cords for everything. So I could have my equipment in this room and then run all the cords under the door and out of this room. So again, where there's a will, there's a way, right? With Amazon and YouTube, almost anything is possible, right? So if that is the issue that you're having, just try to get that computer fan noise away from your mic if you can, as far away. But you can edit it out later. But again, using effects and these things, fixing that noise floor issue in post is going to take some of those same low frequency noise, the low frequencies out of the room noise. It'll also come out of your voice. So it'll end up making you sound tinny and hollow. It'll take the warmth out of your voice. So you definitely don't want to try to band-aid it later. You want to try to fix the root problem. I hope that made sense. I am Paxmas says, sure, anyone can reach out. I'll be glad to help. Well, there you go, guys. Paxmas is a rock star. Brent said, you mentioned joining groups. Could you elaborate? Are you speaking of Facebook groups? Yes, Facebook groups. I'm sorry. I talk about groups a lot. I have a Facebook group. It's called the VO Workshop. I also have a group, which is my platinum group on my website, voiceoverangela.com, where we meet Thursday nights. And I've just changed up our schedules, and we're doing a lot of fun stuff now, I think. You guys are probably rolling your eyes at me, but I think it's fun. But we meet every Thursday night, and we have a Discord, and they're so supportive and loving, and it's more like family now. But Facebook groups, if you can find like mastermind sort of training groups, where you can ask questions and maybe share demos. My Facebook group, I allow you to share your demo for feedback, things like that. But having people that understand you and what you're going through and could possibly help you troubleshoot, support you, give you feedback, all of that stuff is usually free and invaluable, right? Unless you're joining like particular groups like mine. It's not free, but I think it's still, low cost. But yes, Facebook groups for sure. For sure. Joya says the Presonus Revelator mic boosts 8 on-board presets to control noise. There you go. You may want to talk with Sweetwater to help you balance the presets. There you go. Might be the mic. Sunny says, I'm trying to help our doyen friend with her audio recording, and it's extremely tricky to do with software. Not sure I can without butchering it. Room treatment goes such a long way. Yes, and if there was an easy way to, trying to help somebody else in your group is such a noble and valiant thing for you, Sunny. And I'm so proud of you that you're doing this, but it's hard without being there in the room with them to kind of help them to problem solve and to look around and go, okay, well, this might be your issue, so let's do this, right? It'd be so much easier if they were just down the street, but I know she's not close to you. And it's hard to sort of walk people through this on an other end of a Zoom call or in a chat message. It's difficult. But I'm glad that you're trying to help her through this, because I think once she gets this done, there's going to be no stopping her. She's amazing. Talent. Cami says, I think I have to invest in a better DAW than Audacity. I'm kind of not impressed. I started with Audacity, and I used Audacity for about 2 or 3 months, and then I moved to Adobe Audition. And I know I say this a lot, I'm sorry, but once I started using Audition from Audacity, it felt like I had been looking at my DAW through a straw. Like the whole world just sort of opened up in front of me, and I had so many possibilities with Adobe Audition, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. That was just another thing that I could like mark off my problem list, right? I wasn't happy with what I could do with my audio recordings when I was still learning about everything, back in the day. But having the ability and the capability to use these effects and features and see them in the spectral, and it was just like, wow, I can do so much more now. I can fix this so much better now. So, but there's nothing wrong with free. Audacity is free. If it works fine for you, great. But there are other DAWs out there that you pay for them. A couple of them are, like a one-time fee. Adobe Audition is a monthly subscription. So they're all kind of different pay structures. But it's really just preference, which one works best for you. Shanta says, no, I don't have a recording space yet. Well, I'm hoping that everything that we've said and talked about here has been helpful in maybe helping you to set yours up. Where did I leave off? Oh boy. Where did I leave? Oh, here we go. I don't know what I did. It just totally moved me around. Okay. Caesar says, on the subject of effects, I also burned money on reverb removal plugins. I tried several in an effort to correct an untreated room. The results were passable, but far from professional. Yes. Treat your room. Instead of buying plugins, buy moving blankets or acoustic foam, or just go to your thrift store and buy old duvets. I mean, there's ways that you can invest that plug-in money to treat your room, which will serve you so much better than buying plugins to try to fix it later. Sorry, gotta go. This was Phyllis Fort. That's okay. Hop in, hop out. Hop in, hop out. But thanks for being here, Phyllis. Blaze, I see you watching, Blaze. Cami says, ouch. Yes, that was not fun. My encounter with a cactus this weekend. CD Williams says, unfortunately, I will have to have my editing station and my recording area in the same small space, but my computer is very quiet. My dogs and the AC tend to ruin more recording than anything. I had the same problems minus the dogs. I don't have dogs, but the AC issue, I'm in the desert, so my air conditioner's on in the summertime 90% of the day. So I have to record in very short bursts when the air conditioner is off. Again, there are effects that are great at reducing air conditioner noise to surgically remove it, but I would much rather not have to go that route. I'd much rather just record when the air conditioner is off and then edit while it's on, right? I have my thermostat on an app on my phone. It's a programmable thermostat. So I can control the air conditioner from my phone down here in my studio, because the thermostat naturally is on the third floor and I'm on the bottom floor. So I just kind of do that, cool it down when I'm editing and then turn it off and then go back to recording, kind of a thing. But again, where there's a will, there's a way. Turbo Fritz says, my son unfortunately met my cactus. I recommend a piece of duct tape. Hold it on the needles for about 10 seconds and then slowly remove. Should pull out the tiny ones that are hard to grab. Those tiny ones, they just break off. And now that's how they're still stuck in my skin. They just break off. They don't. I tried tweezers. I tried like super hot baths and showers. They're just broken off like in my skin. It's so uncomfortable. Learned my lesson though. Pay attention when you're walking through desert landscaping. Caesar says, did you step on a cactus so you could record screams of agony? No, it was not intentional. It was just me being an idiot. If so, that is utter dedication to craft, and I'm rightfully impressed. But use Lego bricks next time. They're easy to remove, but just as painful, right? No, I went to a birthday party this weekend for my nephew, who is 2, and we were at a big community park, and I was looking at my phone because I was looking at a map of the park, trying to find the specific ramada where they were having the party. And I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at my phone, and I walked like full stride into a prickly pear and a jumping cholla. So I had both kinds of needles to pick out of my leg for the rest of the following 3 days. Yeah. I am Paximus. It's my prerogative. Can't tell me what to do. Masonry says, if you're new, do a couple of almost free pieces, get paid, then legitimately claim you are a professional. Then bring up your rates. Word. That works. I am Paximus. I use Logic Pro X for my recordings. Well, there you go. There's other people who use Logic Pro. CD Williams says, any recommendations on groups to join for support? I need help. Mine. Join my group. I think you just joined my Facebook group, didn't you? There's also my Platinum group on my website. It's like $20 a month, but you get a lot with that. And we meet every Thursday we're up to like 2 hours a meeting now, every Thursday. And with that, the Discord, of course, the access to the group and questions and support and love. Oh my God, the love is amazing. Cami says, taking my friend to take their high set GED test. Well, that's nice. That's nice of you. Continue to get ready. That's important. Glowin says, I definitely will. I think my first task with it is going to be learning how to create my presets for recording and editing. I think that's a good thing to do, but the going to be learning how to create my presets for recording editing. Yeah, you'll be doing a lot of that. And that is a ongoing step as well to get everything to work harmoniously with each other and to sound appropriate, right? YouTube videos because even the order in which you build your rack matters, right? So there's a lot to learn there too, but be patient with yourself. You will get through it. Mary, yes, represent platinum, my platinum group. We need to come up with a better name for us, like the VO Vanguards or something. What do you think? Right Track says, thank you again for taking the time to share your knowledge and skills in the craft. You're welcome. I do what I can do. Caesar says, computer fan noise is something I fixed last week. I ran long cables to my laptop, which I tucked away into the far right corner of my room and partitioned with 2 moving blankets. There you go. Yeah, it was an issue for me too, fan noise. I was like, what is this? Why is my noise floor so bad? Computer fan. Joya says, I love the new platinum lineup. I think it's amazing and it will be fun. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I think it's fun too. This week we're doing the Wheel of Emotions. We're going to have just random scripts, and then we're going to spin this wheel that'll tell us which emotion to read the scripts in. I think that'll be interesting. M. Landry says, I was wondering about the fan you use for air circulation, LOL. Does that one make any noise? If no, what kind is it? My Wii fans are noisy. I don't run my fan while I'm recording. I just sit here in the summertime and sweat. When I'm recording, the air conditioner's off, all my fans are off, the door is closed. I just sit here and sweat. That's dedication, my friends. Get like ice packs, like put them on your shoulders, wear a bathing suit in your booth if you have to, put up your hair. You're going to melt. I wouldn't recommend makeup for my lady friends. But no, all my fans are off when I'm recording. Caesar says, on the subject of ultimate wants, I finally locked in my purchase of a Lewitt Connect 6 interface and an Aston Spirit mic. Oh, nice. How is that Lewitt interface? That one looked so interesting. I was like, because I just bought that Lewitt 440 mic, and I was like, oh, should I get a Lewitt interface too? That thing was so cool looking. But then I opted for the UA Volt is what I ended up getting. But how do you like that? I woke up last night and found my wallet sitting at the foot of my bed crying. Relatable. Relatable, Caesar. You're in good company. Joya says, fun tip. The construction of moving blankets is the exact same one as quilts, only with cheaper quality materials. Thrift store quilts and blankets are cheaper and made with better fabrics. Well, there you go. There you go. And you can get moving blankets used, say, on like Craigslist or something like that. But I would definitely sanitize them, shake them out, Febreze them. You never know. Janeri says, hi, Angela. Just letting you know I'm listening. Well, hi, Janeri. Glad to see you here. Orshal? Hi, Angela from old Germany. Your channel is great. Every week, a lot of interesting information. I appreciate that. Look at that. We are global, my friends. Thanks for being here. CD Williams says, I'm new to Discord. Is your Discord for paying members or open to everyone? My Discord is for my platinum group. I have only one Discord. Well, I'm in Discord, of course. I've got a couple other groups that I'm a part of, but my platinum group Discord is only for my platinum group. It's a perk to being in the group. And even if you left the group, you could stay in the Discord. So you have ongoing support. But it's for paying members. Again, my platinum group is $20 a month. I'm not charging a bajillion dollars. It's basically just to help keep everything running, for the cost of Zoom and all of that stuff, and the scripts that I provide for you guys to practice and make demos with. Bob says, my Mr. Microphone works wonderful for those that can remember it. My Mr. Microphone works wonderful for those that can remember it. Your Mr. Mike? Am I missing the joke? You might have to break that down for me, Bob. CD Williams says, I did just join. Okay, good. Awesome. I love it. Mary says, VO Vanguards. I like that. Like it. Yes. MG Stevens says, I like VO Vanguard. I do too. I'm playing with that for a while. I don't know if that was like cheese or what, but I'm glad you guys like it. I like it too. Lisa says, thank you. I'm binge watching. Mary says, Wheel of Emotion, Angela. I'm so ready. Oh my God, I cannot wait. Yeah, it's, I'm going to try to pick like the most random scripts. Like I'm talking like shampoo bottle directions. And then we're going to pick different emotions, and whatever it lands on is how you have to read it. So this will be an exercise in tone and intent, right? I think it'll be fun because we're silly. We like to have fun. Blumenthal Francillon. I hope I said that right. Good afternoon, Angela and voiceover community. I built my studio out of PVC pipe and found a video on YouTube. Instead of moving blankets, I used blacked out curtains, just sharing an advice. Yes, I at one point also used a blackout curtain behind me. If you look at like my way early videos, I have a blackout curtain behind me, but that was really just to block out the ugly wall behind me. Blackout curtains are great. They are thicker than, I would say, a traditional curtain, but I don't know if they're going to be thick enough to help with sound reflection. Obviously, the thicker you go, the better sound quality you're going to get. But again, I don't know, blackout curtains. I'm not like, I don't have a PhD on blackout curtains. So there could be some that are thick enough. What do I know? But just from what immediately comes to mind, they may not be thick enough, but if they work for you, that's ultimately all that matters, right? Cami says, where can I find usable copyright-free scripts to record for a demo reel? In my Platinum group, I have scripts in my Platinum group that you are allowed to use for demos and practice. There are other sites that you can find practice scripts on, but you cannot use them for demos. You cannot post them and use them as demo scripts. So you might be down to either paying someone to write some for you or writing your own. Just be careful in not using somebody else's exact script, just to be on the safe side. But I have those in my group, my Platinum group. Caesar says the Wheel of Emotion should have a seduction and inebriation as options. You guys know I am writing those down. Inebriation. Love it. Kevin Harvey. So you guys in the Platinum group, if you get seduction, you can blame Caesar for that. Kevin says, hi, Angela from Oregon. Sorry I'd be late. That's okay, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you for joining. M. Landry says, ice packs, genius. I have an ice pack that sits literally on your shoulders, and then it has like an ice pack in each side. So you can put it on your head, you can put it on your neck, you can have it hanging over your shoulders. It just helps to kind of cool the core down, right? You can put it around your waist if you wanted to. Yeah, ice packs, be your friend. I'm in the swamp, so yeah, ice is the way, for sure. Masonry Construction says Lewitt mics are made in China. Okay. Most everything is, I think. CD Williams says, definitely thank you for all the free formation. I like that. Free formation. You are single-handedly keeping me motivated to keep going. I have severe anxiety disorders and get overwhelmed. Oh, You were talking to the queen of introverts here. So even doing this every week is difficult, but I know that my intent is to help as best I can. Just a quick story on why, for those that don't know why I do this. In the beginning, for me, I watched all of the people that I admired on YouTube share tutorials and advice and things of that nature. And when it came time to reach out and connect with someone to possibly become a mentee of that person, they turned me out for being brand new. I was discarded, I guess, basically is all I can say. Excuse me. So I felt I didn't want anybody else to feel that way, to kind of have your dream squished. So I decided to help out as best I could with the knowledge that I had at the time. And it turns out that it was there were other people out there that felt the same way that I did. Just to have someone freely offering this information, and it's not, these are all my opinions, obviously, and you can do what you want to do, but sharing what I know as I go along and keep learning myself, never stop learning, I think is helpful, not only in helping you, maybe give you ideas and what to do, what not to do, so you can avoid the stupid stuff that I did, or, support the community aspect of this, I think is huge for a lot of people, because I find it valuable. And I think a lot of other people would say the same. And it is overwhelming. And it's nice to know that other people have gone through it before, and there is a way past it, over it, through it, with a little help, perhaps. And there's a lot of people here that will help you in this industry. Caesar says, Angela, I love how the Lewitt interface has tons of gain, and I can connect both my laptop and phone simultaneously. Yeah, that thing was cool. It's a bit picky with headphones, so I recommend an 80 or 150 ohm pair of cans. Okay, thank you for that. Cami says, oh, you provide scripts. Very nice. Guess I'll see about joining your group. And I have other group members that write and also contribute also. So if you join my group and you're willing to, volunteer and donate scripts for the group's purposes, then you can do that too. It's all about community and sharing, right? Kevin says, wish I had the extra cash to join your group. Sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. It is fun. And that's one of the reasons why the price is so low. I mean, because I've seen other groups that are, $80, $100 more, just to kind of do these things. And I try to keep costs low because I know there isn't a whole lot of capital in the beginning. So that's why it's been going for a couple of years now. Has it been 2 years, 3 years that we've had this group? Oh my gosh, it's been a while, and the price has stayed the same for ages. Janari says VO Vanguard sounds cool. However, Vanguard is the company where my 401k goes. Yeah, there's that. Blumenthal says, if you use 6 curtain on each side, yeah, if you use 6 blackout curtains, it might do the trick. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Victoria Vio says, Angela, is your booth a kit or your own build? This is a storage room office. It's this little tiny room that's in my townhouse that I converted into a studio. So it's just an extra little, it's like a 5x6 storage closet thing that I made into a studio. So it's a conversion, I suppose. M. Landry says, layers of towels behind blackout curtains works well. 3 or 4 layers of towels absorbs so much sound. Yes, you want thick padding. Janari says, for scripts, I suggest get the Chat GPT. Yes, I think Chat GPT would be good for scripts. However, keep in mind that just by some of the conversations I've heard in the last few days, that Chat GPT pulls from content on the internet and could inadvertently be using someone else's content, which could ultimately end up being copyright issues. So I'm not comfortable using it for that purposes, because just like us, we don't want people using our voice without our permission. I wouldn't want to be, although you could say that there isn't anything that hasn't already been said at some point in time, right? Anywhere. But you don't know how much of somebody's content it's using. So I don't know. I don't know about that. Kevin Harvey says, wish I had the extra cash. Sounds like fun. There will come a time, well, maybe you will, and we would love to have you. Cami says, thank you to Janeri. Caesar says, blackout curtains. Mileage varies. Some blackout curtains are single layer and do diddly squat. Others go up to 3 or 4 or 5 layers. I would still recommend grommeted moving blankets. Or just tacking them up to your walls like I did, because I don't care about the holes. Vickers says, hello, Angela. I've been exploring AI lately, and will AI soon be an acceptable platform for voiceovers? You are now able to use your own voice with AI, and expression is available with AI. No. I am not. I know it's an inevitability. I know it is, but I'm going to fight it as long as I can. So no, I don't. Kevin says, just don't step into the same stuff that Anthony steps into. I've stepped into a lot of the same stuff that Anthony has stepped into, but you know what? With him sharing the stuff that he has stepped into and then learning to overcome it and then sharing that overcoming with other people has helped me to avoid some of that stuff. And I love him for it. Tess Stalker says, my husband has looked over my shoulder through my journey. He's amazed at how generous the VO community is with sharing their information. Yeah, same. Mine is also a creative. He's a creative entrepreneur, but his industry is also very welcoming and warm, but still very competitive. And I find that this industry, and I've been in the automotive industry, I've been in construction, I've been in, fast food, been in a lot of different aspects with communities, in respect to communities. And this is the most welcoming, warm, supportive, genuine industries I've ever had the pleasure and privilege to be part of. It is amazing. And it's pay it forward. That's another reason why I do this. I'm paying it forward. Blumenthal says, yes, exactly when it comes to the blackout curtains. Cami. Pow. Masonry Construction says, ChatGPT does not create anything new, just as you've said. But to create a dummy script, probably okay. You're not selling it. True. And as Caesar said, mileage varies. Do what you want to do. I'm not saying that everything that I say is either the way you got to do it or, right or wrong or whatever. I'm just sharing what I think and my opinions on things. But the beauty is do what you want to do. Run your business the way you want to run your business. But you're right. You're not selling it or anything. You're just using it for to showcase your voice. Why is my poll on the screen? Yeah. Kevin said it repeated for some. That's okay. You just wanted to make your point. That's okay. What time is it? Oh my God. Time flies when you're having fun. 10:30 already. Okay. Caesar, you'll be the last one. Then I got to run. I would love to submit my voice to an AI company. That way, when robots take over the world, the first transmission will be utterly terrifying, but silky smooth with a touch of British. You're going to be the voice of the overlords. Is that it? When you'll be the voice of Skynet. Caesar, you are funny. I love it. I love people with a sense of humor. All right. So you guys, thank you for joining me again today. I will be here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you all for spending some time with me today. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys go forth and have a fabulous week. And I will see y'all next time. Apart from my platinum members, I'll see you just in a couple days on Thursday. I'll see you then. Bye. Thank you so much for listening today. I really appreciate it. If you have an extra moment, please feel free to leave a review. We'll see you next time.